On the day before the college entrance examination, a gangster Kaya had just met in a bar wanted to take her out to celebrate her birthday. Kaya, who attached great importance to the college entrance examination, surprisingly agreed. During the day, I accidentally overheard the conversation between the gangster and his friend in the restroom. "I'll make that girl stay with me the whole night tonight, so she won't be able to take the college entrance exam tomorrow." In my previous life, when Kaya mentioned it to me, I tried my best to stop it. But what I got in return was her sarcastic remarks. "Sergio, it's a party Levon specially prepared for me to celebrate my 18th birthday. As a coward, if you don't celebrate for me, it's fine, but can you please not to stop me from pursuing my own happiness?" I, for the sake of her future, turned deaf ears to her humiliation and told her parents secretly about it. That night, her parents locked her up at home. And the next day, they personally escorted her to the examination room. Kaya finally got admitted to St. Andrews University as she wished. But Levon got drunk and got into a fight with someone because he couldn't succeed. He was sentenced to death for intentionally injuring and causing death. Kaya was completely devastated as soon as she received the news about him. She took the initiative to ask me to go to her house and seduce me, leaving evidence. Soon, after I left, she reported me to the police that I had defiled her. My promising future ruined. My parents committed suicide by turning on gas at home after being exposed online. Kaya stood at the door of my house and coldly recorded my parents' struggle before they died, then visited me in prison with the video. "Sergio, I want the whole family of yours to be buried with Levon. I couldn't stand the stimulation and died suddenly of a heart attack in prison." When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day before the college entrance examination. I looked at Kaya, who was talking to me about her coming 18th birthday that evening, and smiled. In this life, listening to her and just letting her do whatever she wanted. "Sergio, what's your attitude? Can you please not be so sensitive when there's a boy around me?" The familiar voice suddenly brought me back to my senses. I lowered my head and looked at my unshackled hands. And Kaya Nolthan, who was pointing fingers in front of me. I had truly been reborn. In my previous life, I stopped Kaya and Levon from going out to celebrate Kaya's 18th birthday today. Kaya got admitted to St. Andrews University as she wished, but Levon Marville was sent to prison for being drunk and causing injury to others. As soon as Kaya got the news, she took the initiative to ask me to go to her house and seduce me. After taking off her clothes, she took a video and called the police. I got imprisoned and my parents committed suicide by turning on gas after being exposed online. When my parents committed suicide, Kaya was just outside my house. She watched my parents' tragic death with cold eyes, took a video and left with a smile on her face. The next day, he visited me in prison and showed me the whole video. She looked at me and screamed at the top of her lungs. "Sergio, if it weren't for you stopping me, how could Levon end up in jail? I've always had excellent grades. Even though Levon and I went out to play the day before the college entrance examination, I would still be admitted to St. Andrews University. You're a selfish person. Levon died in vain, so I want your whole family to be buried with Levon." I had a congenital heart disease and Kaya knew about it. So, the moment I saw the video and had a heart attack, I saw the smile lingering at the corner of her mouth. This chilling memory made my face even uglier. "Hey, Kaya, you have to understand Sergio too. He dare not take you out. It's normal to be a little jealous of Levon for going out with you." Kaya's best friend's words pulled me back to my thoughts. Kaya looked at me with a contemptuous smile on her face. Then she held her best friend's hand and said with a shy expression, "Levon said, the birthday gift he prepared for me tonight will give me a big surprise. I'm really looking forward to celebrating my 18th birthday with such a handsome guy. I believe I'll be able to perform exceptionally well tomorrow." I sneered in my heart. This morning, I overheard a conversation between Levon and his friend in the bathroom. "I'm going to have fun with that little girl tonight, so remember not to disturb me. She will take the college entrance exam tomorrow. Don't play too crazy." "College entrance exam? Why would my girl need to take the exam? She is a college student, so how can she have anything to do with me, Levon Marville?" Well, since I heard this conversation in my previous life, I tried desperately to stop Kaya. It was not a birthday gift, but clearly an attempt to ruin her life. But she didn't know what was good and what was bad. Thinking of this, I looked up at her, whose face was still blushing, and smiled. "Go ahead, Kaya. I also believe that with that handsome guy, Levon, accompanying you tonight, you'll definitely perform exceptionally well tomorrow." Kaya was stunned for a moment when she heard my reply. Soon, she showed a smile again due to the upcoming date. Thinking that I had to go back to prepare for tomorrow's exam, I picked up my school bag and was about to leave. But as soon as I got up, Kaya's best friend pressed her onto the chair. She looked at me coldly and snatched quickly my phone and admission ticket away. "Wanna leave? I think you just want to go home and give a report to my parents. I'll keep these things for you and give them to you when you get to the exam room tomorrow. If you dare to go find my parents, I swear, you won't be able to take the college entrance exam tomorrow." I looked at Kaya with a helpless expression on my face. "Kaya, you know how much I value this exam. I promise not to go find your parents, but please don't joke around about my future, okay?" Still unclear whether she could go to the exam room tomorrow, I couldn't leave my admission pass with her. Seeing that she had no intention of returning my admission pass to me, I quickly stood up and rushed to her. I grabbed the admission pass that was still in her hand and my tone was colder than ever before. "Kaya, give it back to me." Oh, Sergio is angry. Kaya, you guessed it right. Judging from his expression, he's going to go back and tell your parents about it. You sure shan't give the admission pass back to him." Kaya's hands had loosened slightly, but after hearing her best friend's noises, she tightened her grip on the admission pass again. After all, Kaya was a girl and her strength was still much weaker than mine. I grabbed her wrist hard, until she was in pain and she was about to let go of her hand. "Kaya, remember, you still have a date with Levon, you can't ruin it." Her gaze suddenly changed. She quickly exerted force and pulled back, Haha, my admission pass was tore up in half. Her friends who had been insulting and cheering around me just now instantly turned pale. The tears which had been lingering in my eyes for a long time finally fell to the ground. A huge feeling of despair and powerlessness came over me. After living my new life over again, I finally have no future. Kaya's face turned pale and after a while, she threw the half-admission pass to me. Sergio, it was you who tried to stop me from dating Levon that made me so excited. It's your own fault. Her words fell, then she grabbed her best friends and ran away like crazy. As soon as the classroom door closed, I heard laughter coming from outside. I can't believe he's really your bootlicker. He didn't even dare to say anything after you tore up his admission pass. Hey, he's just a coward guy, not as cool and handsome as Levon. Kaya's words were like a needle piercing my heart. She actually thought my tolerance towards her was cowardice. Kaya and I had been studying and improving together every day since junior high school. Going to St. Andrews University together was the promise we made to each other's future. But since she met Levon outside of school, everything had changed. I was sure, in this third new life, Kaya no longer wanted to have a common future with me. Thinking of this, I threw the torn admission pass into the trash can and knocked on the door of homeroom teacher's office. Teacher, I have thought about the recommendation to go to Hemsford University. Hemsford University is more suitable for me than St. Andrews University. The homeroom teacher looked at me with a happy expression on her face. Well, you shouldn't have given up. The physics laboratory at Hemsford University will make you shine. When I got home, my parents breathed a sigh of relief upon learning that I didn't need to take the college entrance examination. They were worried about me giving up Hemsford University for Kaya, but now I had fulfilled their wish. Just after dinner, there was a hurried knocking sound on our door. As soon as I opened the door, Kaya's parents, Benjamin Nolfin and Delia Nolfin, stood in the doorstep and looked at me anxiously. Sergio, do you know where Kaya is? She just sent us a message and never answered the phone again. You said she has to take the college entrance examination tomorrow. Where on earth did this girl go? My mother, Serena Hayes, also looked at me and said, Sergio, you have always been with Kaya on weekdays. I'm sorry, Auntie, I don't know her whereabout. I interrupted my mother's words and looked up at Kaya's mother. Then, do you know where she usually goes? Asked her. I pulled up the corners of my mouth and smiled awkwardly. No, I really don't know. Since Kaya's mother didn't get any clues about her daughter, she shook her head and left helplessly. As soon as I closed the door, my father, Giorgino Hayes, poked his head out. Do you have a quarrel with Kaya? You often spend your time studying with her. Don't you at least know where she usually goes? I looked at my father, smiled and went back to my room. Of course, I wouldn't say anything, so let her enjoy the wonderful night with her lovely guy, Levon. My mother was the chairperson of the parents' committee at my school, so she took me to the examination room with my father to volunteer early in the morning. As soon as I arrived at the entrance of the examination room, I saw Benjamin and Delia, who looked anxious. They rushed towards me when they saw me coming. The homeroom teacher also rushed over behind them. Sergio, Kaya didn't come home the whole night. Weren't you together at school yesterday? Did she tell you where she was going? The homeroom teacher also followed behind and asked me. Sergio, you know how important this exam is to Kaya. The exam is about to start, but she's still nowhere to be seen. Please help us think about where she's going. I felt sad as I looked at the anxious Kaya's father and mother. The scene of my parents' tragic deaths in the previous life lingered in my mind. I gritted my teeth and looked up at them. I really don't know. Seeing me shaking my head, the homeroom teacher sighed and patted Delia on the shoulder. Sergio is an honest boy. Maybe he really doesn't know where your daughter is. Let's think of other ways to find her. But I knew I couldn't find her. Levon just didn't want Kaya to take the college entrance examination.